All right, guys. I hope you're doing very well. I know it's been a while since a video. We had the FOMC on the Wednesday there. We had a very volatile Wednesday afternoon, followed by Thursday, Friday. We hit all-time highs again on SPY. Crazy, crazy stuff. What you're looking at right now is the 4-hour time frame on SPY, and actually, this is the if you're confused at what you're looking at, this is the extended trading hours chart. So this is what you typically would see on a 4-hour time frame. But I'm actually looking at the extended trading hour chart because my levels are actually drawn using the extended trading hour chart on the 4-hour time frame. So these smaller, thinner levels are 4-hour levels, and I'm using the 1px width to distinguish the 4-hour level, and then I'm using the 2px setting to distinguish the daily levels. So these thicker bars here are the daily levels, and this thinner bar right here, these are the 4-hour levels. And I draw the 4-hour levels using the extended trading hour chart because I want to make sure that these levels are holding up even in the after hour session and the pre-market session, because as you know, the pre-market session is actually it can be a very volatile session because of the economic events that typically get released at 5:30 a.m. PST, which would be 8:30 a.m. EST. So I want to make sure that these levels are holding up in these times as well, not just during the New York session. So these levels are very accurate, and they've been working for me very well. So the 4-hour time frame on SPY has been very bullish and is very bullish. We haven't had a red candle basically since the last one of the day on Friday there. So I can't necessarily be bearish to any extent because if we swap over to ES, this is the 6-hour time frame for ES, and this is how we've opened up on the day on Sunday. We have a red bearish engulfing candle, which means nothing because we're in such a strong uptrend. If you look at the daily time frame as well, we had a beautiful setup for a long scalp on Friday, although that long scalp was a very choppy one, but it didn't end up going up higher. So that was a pretty good setup for a long trade for Friday. Now, the daily time frame is obviously bullish. Even the weekly time frame is bullish. Everything is very, very bullish. So, for me to be bearish right now and look for short scalps, unless the opportunity presents itself and we see some kind of trend change confirmation on a larger time frame, I would like to see that on at least at the very minimum on the 4-hour time frame on SPY before making any kind of decisions like that. So with how the market is looking right now, especially on the 6 hour, I could definitely see a pullback to 4,954.50, which would be a retest of this area right here. This was one of our previous higher highs. But, to be honest with you, with how strong the momentum was on the Friday and the Thursday, I don't know if we can even see that. Now, that huge bull run that we had on Thursday was all because of Meta and Amazon earnings. That's why that happened. I don't think we would have had that at all if Meta and Amazon didn't have such an insane earnings report. So a lot of that I do believe has to do with Meta and earnings, and I do think the market will probably retest these areas on Monday, tomorrow. We have a red candle here suggesting a little bit of weakness to the upside. Same here on the 6 hour for ES. So for the 4 hour on SPY, can't really say much there, but we're going to take a look at the 1 hour time frame for SPY as well. I want to take a look at how it ended. So we got a higher high here, followed by a lower high, and then a higher high again. And then this was basically retesting our previous higher high. I do suspect it to reject. If it does break down and closes below or opens up below this area, I would be looking for a short scalp for sure to at least 49128 on Monday, but we'd have to wait and see if that even happens. At this point in time, that's all speculation. Obviously, we had a little bit of sell off on ES on the 6 hour time frame to start off the day on Sunday. We had a brand new candle just open up 9 minutes ago on ES, so we're gonna have to see how that plays out. But as far as SPY is concerned, for this week and this week to come, because of all the buying pressure that we've had, we are right around all-time highs for ES. On SPY, we are at all-time highs, but on ES, we definitely have a little bit more room to climb, and I can definitely see us hit 5,006 by the end of the week, which would be all-time highs on ES. So I could definitely see that happen before the end of the week. But, you know, with the amount of buying pressure that we had, I do suspect some consolidation before the next leg up. I don't know how long that's going to be. I'm suspecting some to happen tomorrow because we don't really have many economic events tomorrow. If you look at the day tomorrow, it's kind of empty, it's kind of dry, and we don't have much at all for the remainder of the week. So this week could be a pretty low volume week. We'd have to wait and see what happens. I'm going to be trading every single day, so I will look for those setups and I will look for those opportunities, provided that they present themselves. But with how the market is currently looking, I can't say that I'm super, super enthusiastic about getting into a long scalp right away or any swing trades right now with how high the market is. SPY is at all time highs, right? So we got to take what we see here with a grain of salt because on SPY, there's not much for us to do but just be patient at this point, right? And I can definitely see us retest 49132, which is going to be our daily support, which was our resistance on Friday. We broke past that, and I would definitely suspect some consolidation around this area, potentially a leg up. Now, what I'd like to see is I would like to see a little bit of retracement. If we start climbing first thing tomorrow morning, I'm not going to get into that. I feel like that's just, you chasing the trade, and you chasing the leg up. I want to see a lower high. That's ideally what I'm looking for is on the 4-hour time frame and at least the 1-hour time frame as well. I want to see a lower high form on the 4-hour time frame, and I think a perfect spot for that would be 49132. And then I would like to see a bounce off this 49132 area, and I would like to see like on the 1-hour time frame like a bullish engulfing bouncing right off of 41 49132, signaling that we're going to go for the next leg up. In that case, that would be a trade that I would definitely swing heavy on, and I would definitely ride that trade probably until we hit 5,000 on ES, you know? So that would be a good 30-point move, probably more. If we get in down here, that'd be more of like a 40-point move. So a very large move. I am expecting that to happen probably by the end of this week, but we'll have to wait and see with how the market presents itself. So on Friday, I kind of want to just recap the day on Friday and kind of some of the trades that you could have taken. Now, Friday was a very bullish day. There was really no selling pressure at all. So, first thing in the morning, we had an excessive amount of buying pressure. I did not get into any of this. The first trade of the day that I decided to take was this trade right here. So I got into the trade right at 9:45. Sorry, at 10 a.m. I waited for this candle to close. And at that point, my target for this trade was the 497.825 on the futures, which is this line right here. So this level right here. I didn't have any levels on SPY because we were in all-time high territory. So this was a very risky trade because it could have just reversed at any second. There was no level for me to gauge. So I had to use ES to, gauge my levels and monitor and manage this trade. So I got into the trade at 10 a.m. on the Friday. So right when this candle closed right here. So this candle right here is when I got in, and I rolled this up. This was a pretty decent trade. It wasn't, phenomenal by any means, but it was definitely something. And my target, as mentioned, was 497.825 in the futures, and I was using that as reference to see where we were going. As soon as we hit that, I pulled out of the trade immediately, and I was done for the day. With the amount of selling pressure that we had on the Thursday, that was ridiculous how high we went, how quickly. I wasn't expecting much, much more. But with the consistent and persistent grind up that we had all morning and afternoon, I decided to hop into a quick scalp at 10 a.m. in hopes that it would go up, and it did in fact go up. And that was a pretty decent trade. The 1-hour time frame didn't really present any opportunities until I would say at 11:30. You definitely could have gone into a nice little scalp. It wouldn't have been a big scalp, but definitely would have been something. And that's because, as you can see here, we had a higher high, pulled back, lower high, and then a bullish engulfing to show continuation to the upside while being in an uptrend on all other time frames. So a very confluent trade, and that was a good trade, but it was short, it was minor. So it probably it if your position size is low, then it's definitely not a trade that's worth taking. You might as well just sit out and wait for a better setup. So with that being said, guys, it wasn't a very we didn't go into too much detail, but I just wanted to kind of recap what happened on the Friday and the Thursday, what I suspect to happen potentially this week. This week, I don't think it's going to be a very volatile week. VIX is at 1385, which is pretty low. Um, Actually, I want to show you DXY as well. DXY has a bullish pattern, a very bullish setup. Okay. Now, if you guys follow DXY, DXY is the US index currency. So it actually moves, it's inversely correlated to the S&P 500. So basically what that means is if this is pumping, then most likely SPY is dumping. Now, with the setup that we have here on DXY, this is a very bullish setup. I can see us easily break this level here and then go to 104,496. If that happens, you know, SPY will most likely sell off as a result. Not much, but we'll definitely see some sort of a sell off. And like I said, a perfect area for us to sell off to would be 49128. That'd be a perfect area for us to sell off to, and that's ideally what I'd be looking for. So if we do hit that, which I hope we do get a sell off, I want to see a lower high first before I get into any long scalps. I want to see a lower high close and I want to see it finish. And then I want to see confirmation that the lower high is done and we're going to go for a higher high. And at that point, I will definitely get into a long scalp. But with how that's looking on SPY, it does look like we might in fact get that. The 1 hour time frame on SPY um, had a pretty big sell off at the end of the day. If you look at the 15-minute time frame, the 15-minute time frame broke its trend structure. So its trend structure was holding basically all day. Actually, the trend structure broke right here at 9:30. Instead of making a lower high, it made a lower low, but it quickly recovered. And then here at the end of the day as well, instead of making a lower high, it made a lower low and quickly sold off and did not recover. So definitely a potential sign of a retracement back to 49128, which is right here. Definitely could see that happen. So we'll have to wait and see where the market opens up tomorrow. But nonetheless, I'm going to try and make a video more often. I've just been very, very busy lately, and it's hard to make content every single day. But I'm trying to get on top of it. But nonetheless, guys, I hope this video helped out, and I hope it was somewhat informative and it helps you set up and prepare for the week to come. And with that being said, guys, I will make a video very soon, and I look forward to it. You have a great night and take care.